Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending wherever you are in the world, and welcome back to the channel, where in today's video we are going to be looking at how to improve your possession and attacking game in Eafc 24. There are going to be quite a few tips and tricks. I'm going to show you a couple of, well, I think maybe 3 games that I played in total. We're going to be going over highlights and kind of things that I specifically do in terms of keeping possession, getting chances, and providing as many chances as I possibly can in the attacking third of the pitch. And hopefully you can pick up on a few and implement them into your game. But first, before going into all of that, I'm going to be running quickly over the custom tactics that I did end up using for these for this video. And I did pick Portugal. At the time they were the highest possession team in the Euros, so I wanted to kind of give them a go and see how I could run with it. Unfortunately, they have been knocked out now of the Euros, but yeah, this was slightly prior to, I believe. So in terms of formations, what you should be running is a wide formation, something with quite a lot of natural width, where you can have options in the midfield but also out wide. In Eafc 24, it is quite important to play kind of down the wings, whether you have 1 or 2 players kind of down there. It offers you so much space, and with the custom tactics and player instructions that I do have, it just emphasizes that and leaves you with so much space one-on-one and also in the middle of the pitch. It stretches the opposition so much that you're able to have that extra second and a half to make the decisions, to make the right choice, to end up getting the chances that you need to score goals. So 4-3-3 in this video was the one that I used, but other formations that you can 100% replicate the style of play and improve your possession and attacking are formations such as the 4-2-3-1, whether it be the narrow or wide. The wide one is obviously naturally more defensive, and you're kind of forced to play slightly more reserved and slightly slower, whereas the 4-2-3-1 narrow allows you to play quick, snappy passing, just not quite the width. With the wingers, of course, it ends up being central attacking midfielders. Other formations, the 4-3-3 false 9 is a really good one for holding the ball. Again, you have to be patient. It's the whole point of playing possession, especially in Eafc. You need to make the right choices, allow the play to develop, which you will see in the clips coming forward as well. 4-3-3 attack, which in Ultimate Team I think it's the 4-3-3, the 4th variation. The false 9 is the 5th. You can replicate this in Ultimate Team 2 along with the tips. Just the formation, I didn't change anything. It's just a base flat 4-3-3. The 4-2-3-1 is the same, but it's just narrower. So if you kind of prefer the really short snappy passing, whether it's 5-10 yards and it's kind of all interlinking from the central midfielders to the attacking 3, and then using the width with the fullbacks, that's also something that you can do. If you haven't already checked out my other video on Eafc 24, whether it's the best possession tactic, and it is running the 3-1-4-2. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you go and check that out on the channel. I run through all the custom tactics and instructions to allow you to have the best free-flowing possession-based system, in my opinion, in Eafc 24. But yeah, in this one, we did end up running with the 4-3-3 flat. In terms of the team, it was Costa, Pepe, and Diaz, the 2 centre-backs, Dallo at right-back, Cancelo at left-back, Bruno Fernandes. The whole reason I have Cancelo on the left is because of the instructions, which I'll show you. So Bruno on the left hand side, Paulinho in the middle, the ball winner of the team. Then we have Vitinha out on the right, who could naturally be placed with Bernardo Silva, of course, but I then went with Bernardo out on the right, Rafa Leao out on the left, and CR7 up top. So in terms of tactics, defensively we went with press after possession loss. It is important to make sure you try and win the ball back as high up as you possibly can. Press after possession loss is the more aggressive out of the 2 pressure tactics. Constant pressure is crazy. Your players will run out of stamina quite a bit, and it's very difficult to I mean, it can be very easy to play around because your entire team just presses non-stop, and then if they're able to get around, whether it's playing it to the fullback then into the middle, they have so much space to counter attack you. So viably, I think these two are the best options. Pressure on heavy touch, if you don't want to press immediately and you kind of like the more reserved style of pressing, then this one, but I went with press after possession loss with 68 depth as well. In terms of offense, slow build up play with balanced chance creation, it allowed me the balance of being able to play quickly but also holding the ball on the outside of the box and not having to rush with something like direct passing. But of course, if you're struggling to create chances and the attacking AI isn't what you prefer, then direct passing will be the best one for you, because they do make runs, they push the line back, they're able to then get a little bit more space. So naturally, direct passing I think is the meta this year, and nobody really changes from it. But I like balanced. It allows me the ability to do everything manually. So if I want runs, I use the manual run button to tell them to run or to come short, which I'll go over in the clips. Of course, width 90. This is probably the most important one when it comes to offense, and especially with a 4-3-3 flat. Having 90 width, it essentially has the two wingers hugging the touchline, and the amount of space in the middle that is allowed for your three central mids is crazy. And then obviously you have the striker up top. So with Bruno especially, he had so much space just because of that 90 width, and Leao pushing to the touchline, which then in turn dragged their fullback out to Leao, leaving Bruno with so much space to kind of create things. And as I said at the start, it does give you that ability to have the extra second and a half on the ball, which you will need, and it maximizes your ability to create chances. Players in the box, it is only 4. You don't want to get counter-attacked too much. Plus, with the balanced chance creation, it allows you to have a lot of players in and around the box, which is nice. Corners on 3, free kicks on 2. In terms of instructions, the goalkeeper comes for crosses and sweeper keeper. Dalot I personally held on balanced. He could do whatever he wants, whether it be invert or overlap. That was completely up to him. And then Cancelo, I had stay back and inverted, and that's because of the instructions I had on Bruno. As you can see, it's balanced, and normal, but then it's drift wide. So the reason I have Cancelo on the left is because then he essentially takes up Bruno's space on a little bit more of a reserved area, and then Bruno pushes up and creates really nice passing links between himself, Ronaldo and Rafa Leao, drifting out to that left hand side, but then also having the cover and option of Cancelo in the middle. Joao Palhinha was stay back while attacking. He was the ball winner, which we definitely need in the middle. Stay on the edge of the box as well, which is important, and cover centre, whereas Bruno is also cover centre. And I think Palhinha is balanced with cover centre but get forward. So he was the one kind of making the runs past Ronaldo, which is why you could put Bernardo Silva there if you wanted to, or maybe even a Joao Felix. You don't necessarily need ball winners because you have so much cover with Pepe, Diaz, Cancelo and Palhinha, of course, etc. So Bernardo Silva we have on stay wide and target player. This basically means he holds his position, and he doesn't come short, which is another one. So come short, he kind of narrows the pitch, and I want him to stay as wide as possible. Having him on balanced, he does kind of everything, but I wanted him especially to stay wide, get the ball one-on-one, especially with his playstyle plus, which is technical. He's then able to drive at his opponent, and having that much space and technical plus, it was a nightmare to defend against him. Stay wide is super important. And then also Leao, exactly the same. Balanced, get in the box. So it wasn't get in the box and it wasn't stay on the edge. It was just balanced. So whether he needed to be, depending on how many people already in the box, he was in there, or he was just on the edge waiting for a backstick cross. And then Ronaldo, again, target player, with stay central. If you feel like you need more runs in behind, then don't be afraid to put Ronaldo on getting behind. He will drag the the defenders back with him, allowing even more space for Fernandez or Vitinha. So what I'm going to do now, after the custom tactics, I'm just going to run straight into the clips, and then we're going to go over all the tips and tricks necessary to improve. Alright, so here we are with the very first clip, and we do have, I think, 6 type of tips and tricks to go over, and in this one we're going to be going over spacing and tempo. Now you can have 2 options or you can have 4 options, it just depends on you, but slowing down kind of your pace and style, especially when it comes to possession and attacking, you're gonna benefit from it because you're gonna get more space and time. And in this one you could force it to Rafa Leao. Instead we go to CR7, back to Leao, making the pass first time to CR7. Unfortunately it saved, we had so much more time to kind of attack, and that's what I mean, just kind of waiting that extra second. You're gonna see it here too. We have 2 options, one is a central midfielder, one is Rafa Leao back on that left side, but he is marked by 3 people, including someone that he's controlling. So instead of passing to marked people, we're just going to wait, and then all we're going to do, we're going to pass to Leao, and now here comes the tempo. So we've now opened up some space, and with that space we can start moving the ball a little bit quicker, getting the ball further and further forward and quicker. It allows us to beat the opposition. In terms, when you play the possession style, especially in Eafc, it's almost like a chess match, especially when you want to play with the ball so much. You have to be thinking, what are they thinking? So when you're holding on to the ball for that extra second and then they're making decisions, you just wait. So if they go out wide, like you're going to see here, he has chosen the left centre back to mark Bruno. Now in my mind, I want to fire this across to Rafa Leao so he has an extra second of time to pick his corner and score. Unfortunately, the directional pass wasn't great from me, so it led to an inaccurate pass where the keeper then had time to charge down and save it. We did get lucky with Leao jumping over CR7, being CR7 and doing his type of things, scoring the chance. But when you have kind of the ball, don't be afraid to just pass it between your central midfielders, and then when you have the space or you make the decision, this is the time to attack, fire those passes in with the driven pass, which is right bumper and L1, right bumper, sorry, and A, or R1 and X if you're on PlayStation. But yeah, don't be afraid to just pass it around, and also wait, just patience. You're going to see here there are 2 options, including or 3 if you include the right back at the top, which you can't quite see. But I'm just going to allow the play to develop a little bit. We have Paulinho, there's no pressure on us, we don't need to make a decision. Cancelo is going to charge through on the left. Now he's made his choice, he's charged out with his 2 defenders. It's so simple when you take that extra second and let the opponent kind of make the mistakes for you. 73% of the ball in 30 minutes is crazy too. This is Division 2 in seasons. I don't really play seasons unless it's for videos. I find it a lot easier to kind of explain things and play certain ways, because I think Ultimate Team is just kind of chaotic and hectic. But yeah, this forcing passes, unfortunately it didn't work out for us. We did end up winning the ball back, but now you're going to see us using the left bumper trick now. So when you press left bumper, you charge people forward, you tell them to make forward runs, and then it creates so much space, as you're going to see. Bruno Fernandes to Leao, and unfortunately the finish is a little bit less than desired. So, but creating that type of chance, and when you have good players like Rafa Leao, he's not going to miss many. And you can see here, this again is about patience and slowing the game down. Instead of passing it straight to Leao, who then is going to run into a person, we make that extra pass and then it's into Leao. We've got a little bit more space now. Bruno has, 5-10 yards around him, and then he waits for Leao, finds CR7, and again, this is a perfect example of waiting and making the opposition make the choice for you. If he presses me, I'm going to play it to Bruno. If he stays off, I'm going to shoot. He decides to cut the passing lane, which allows us to have a shot. Unfortunately, it's a good save, but nothing stops CR7 scoring, and he puts it into the back of the net from the corner. So in terms of passing techniques, the ones that you need to use, especially with possession, is the driven pass, which will save you so much. We're just passing it around nice and simple at the back, and then eventually I'll use a driven pass, get it forward into the midfield, and now we're on the attack. But just because we're on the attack doesn't mean that we are in favour. We're 3 versus 7 here. So we just need to calm down, wait for our AI to catch up with us, play nice and patient, use some skills, use some dribbling, waste some time, get into the box. Unfortunately, he made a really, really good tackle here, and we weren't able to capitalise on it. But noticing that there aren't that many players, we need to wait for our teammates to catch up with us. That is something that we did. And here, Leao beats him on the outside, and Ronaldo just decided not to take the ball whatsoever. And unfortunately, that didn't end up in a goal. But the patience and kind of waiting for the opponent to make the decision, which he did. He didn't charge in at us. He allowed us on the outside, and we took full advantage of that, as we are doing now with Leao charging down the right side. Finds Bruno, but there's nothing on, so we're going to find Vitinha. We're just waiting. And who is that? Upamecano just decides. Is that Vitinha? He decides to take him out in the box. CR7 on penalties hasn't been that good in the Euros. And again, it's saved. Unfortunately, it is saved. But we have seen CR7 from corners. Unfortunately, can't get to this one. Falls to Bernardo. We're just staying nice and calm. More often than not, your opponent will panic like crazy if you're just attacking them and there's nobody around and it's like chaotic. Just take your time, as CR7 puts it away off a deflection on the post. I don't know how that was not his goal, but here we're going to use the left bumper and A. So the 1-2 pass, it offers us so many options. Look at the amount of space just from that tiny little thing. If you don't do it, you need to start doing it. It creates so much movement and fluidity, something that you may struggle with in Eafc. And again, we're just going to come down the right. We're going to use the driven pass right to the edge of the box, and unfortunately it is blocked. But those are the types of like passing techniques that you need to be utilizing, along with utilizing your mini-map. This is such an underrated thing that a lot of people don't do, especially when you play possession. Rafa Leao is in acres of space, so hold right bumper and X on Xbox or R1 and square on PlayStation for a driven lob pass, and it gets there a lot quicker. Unfortunately, again goes out for a corner. But we could have had a really simple tap in just because we noticed that the space was over out on that left hand side, and that is just from using our minimap. So make sure you use your minimap. You can customize it to better I think colors for you, and also shapes, so you notice them. And in this one, again, this is going to be coming down to patience and composure. There are 3 different types of passes. You could pass it to Bruno, the central defensive midfielder, or even Vitinha. Or the 4th option is you just wait. You allow the opponent to make the choice. He dives in, it allows Bruno in, and now we're one-on-one with a booked centre-back, so he's not going to be diving in. Or is he? He makes the mistake. We did get past him. It would have been a really good opportunity for us. Not as good as a penalty. We did end up getting it, and we did end up scoring. He redeems himself and scores the penalty in the 92nd minute. But that's all literally from just patience, playing it nice and calm, waiting for your opponent to make the mistake. Of course, dictating the tempo is something that you can do naturally when you keep the ball. And remember, I'm not keeping the ball for keeping its sake. This is something that I do because of the options that I have. 3.4 XG, 64% of possession as well, which is really nice. But also, don't be afraid to dribble. Now, you can see in this clip, there are 2 options ahead of us, but there's also an absolute mass of space in the middle. Attack the space, especially with people who can dribble. And now the space really does open up. We're a little bit fortunate to get away with CR7 as Bruno is side down by Saliba this time. This is the I think the third and final match. Excuse me, but there's only one man that needs to take free kicks from this distance out, and of course it is CR7. Is it going to go in? Of course it is, off the underside of the bar as well. What a goal. If you want me to put like a really short video out on tips and kind of things you need to look for with free kicks, I'm pretty good at them. I'm not the best, but I kind of know where to aim and how to aim. Then let me know in the comments below. This one is literally, again, passing and patience, composure. A lot of the time people are going to play this on the outside, but instead just wait like an extra half second. Make him overcommit to the outside ball. And now Bernardo is one-on-one with the centre-back. A quick little skill move inside. And he makes a mistake because he doesn't think we have that type of skill in our locker to be able to open up the space for a really easy goal. Getting super fortunate here with Pepe. Out to Joao Cancelo, as we are going to look at our options. We have 1, 2, 3. They're all marked. So instead of passing to CR7 straight away, what we're going to do is take that extra touch. That extra touch is going to kill him. He already switches as we take the extra touch, size down Ronaldo from pretty much the same areas we scored the free kick, and gets himself a red card in the 25th minute. So if you just take your time, compose yourself, wait for the opponent to kind of make the mistake and force the mistake out of him. Don't give him easy outs. Don't force passes into people that are marked. Don't force passes to places where you... what a goal that would have been. Don't force passes to places that don't make sense just because you want to attack or need to attack. Just like here, you have CR7. So many people would force this ball to CR7, and I didn't know if he was going to get a bump animation where he wouldn't get the ball, or if the pass wasn't going to be good enough. So instead of passing out to the right, we just took our time. And then we can find an extra pass, and then we can find the open man out on the wing. And now is when people panic. You're going to see I do a little bit of a skill move. He bites on it so hard. We're going to watch it twice. All you have to do is just move your left analog stick in the way of the opposite way you're going, and then quickly to the other side before you touch the ball. It does like a shimmy. I do it literally everywhere, in the middle of the pitch, in the box especially. People panic. They don't come towards you. They hold, was it jockey? And then they kind of skate around the place instead of just going straight to you. And here again, people are going to make mistakes just if you keep the ball. It's so infuriating. If you've ever played someone who keeps the ball a lot, not just keeping it around the back, I mean keeping it away from you, making the safe passes, patience, good passing, spacing and tempo. It's an absolute nightmare. You're going to make mistakes in pressing, and that's when they capitalise. And this is what hopefully you're going to be like after watching this video and kind of seeing different types of things. You're going to see here, you don't always have to pass to the obvious person. I didn't know if Bruno Fernandes was going to be onside here, so I took my time with Leao, press left trigger, fake shot, keep the ball really close to me. Again, force the space open. Wait. If they're not going to try and defend you, just wait. Allow them to give you the space to attack in. Again, we find Bruno with the really nice tactic. Vitinha finds CR7, who smashes it into the back of the net. It's that simple. It's all you have to do is wait, patient, keep the tempo nice and quick, and also don't be afraid to slow it down. If you slow the tempo down, then speed it up. It makes the world a difference. So yeah, those are the 6 things. So we have spacing and tempo. Of course, that comes with tactics and whatnot. Passing techniques, which we covered with the ping pass, and also over the top and driven lob passes. Definitely integrate these into your game. You will see a huge difference, especially finding passes down the wings. Patience, composure, they come hand in hand. The more you kind of wait and pick the right pass, you are going to see the pitch open up exponentially for you. You're going to have so many chances, and then when it comes to chance creation, when you're in the box, just take your time, find the right pass, the extra pass. There's always one more, and yeah, you're gonna improve so much just by using these very, very small and key tips when it comes to attacking and keeping hold of the ball. But this is going to be the end of the video. If you have enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. Also comment if you're going to use these. If you do use these, if you didn't even know some of this was in the game, it would be awesome to know that I've helped some of you guys. And if you have any suggestions or videos that you want me to cover or even look at, put those down in the comments too. I read everything and I reply to everything too. That would be awesome. Also subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you do get notified whenever I do upload the next one. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the video, guys. I really hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I shall catch you in the next one.